At the last day of the WCS Korea, we have in the last map of the best of 3 to the bottom left the Terran player Inrad, starting for Team TSL. It is
TSL Polt.
The series just tied up by his opponent. To the top left of the map, starting for the Slayers team, we have the Zerg player, one of the last 2 remaining Zergs, and his ID is
Slayers, Miya.
Miya, man. Definitely surprising a lot of people with his results so far this tournament. No one expected a player like this who's, shown his face in Team League quite often, but not really a big individual league player to qualify for this tournament. Cancel there in the main base. That's a Larva used there. Very uncommon to see cancellations as a Zerg player.
And a very early scout here with it. He's actually going for a drone scout as well. It looks like he wants to know if Polt is once again starting with the command center first. Responses that we've seen in the past are double hatch before pool if you spot this. And now he's just moving across the map with his one drone, also scouting for proxies. He really wants to make sure that Polt is not playing too overly aggressive on this map.
Yeah, and he just wants to be very safe, obviously, like you said. You're going to go and check the opposite location now. Polt, though, on the other hand, is continuing on with the same build he's done in 2 games in a row. He will be going for 1 Rax Expand, and Miya, likewise, is going for a hatchery first.
At the bottom left now, Polt nearly done with this 1 barracks, and of course we are expecting him to transition into the command center and then most likely going for the double gas again.
I think so. I think this time we are going to see the more standard play from Polt, not cutting any corners.
He of course spotted the Overlord already, so he didn't have to scout with an SCV. He knows exactly where Miya is starting. And now this one drone trying to get into the main base and actually able to...
He may deny the command center briefly, but yeah, as the Marine comes out, and he knows what's up. He sees no second depot, which means it's going to be the faster version of the 1 Rax Expand.
Yeah, he had the choice to get into the main base, but of course he knows about the Marine timing and retreated with the drone to not lose the Harvester.
Yeah. And SCV gets into the main base. As you said, he spouted the Overlord with his SCV, so he knew the location of his opponent, didn't have to guess. And he sees all the timings. This is basically exactly what we saw in game number 1, game number 2. And I think Polt is going to be the guy who makes the choice here as to how the middle of this game is going to play out. What sort of attack is he going to do? Will he play risky again like last game? Will he take that fast 3rd command center? So far, no gases, but he will consider taking those very soon.
What's also going to be really exciting to see is if this goes into a long game, Miya has a choice to make. On most of the maps, you will always go for the Broodlords. On Antigua Shipyard, Ultralisks are better, but on this map both styles are actually really good. It depends on where you engage your opponent. So if you go for an Ultralisk play with Banelings, with Zerglings and with Infestors, you have to try to engage your opponent's army in the middle of the map where you have a lot of surface area so that you can actually connect with these units. If Polt is playing against this Ultralisk style and relying on a tank composition with Marines and Marauders to back it up and is able to force Miya to attack into choke points, into these narrow alleyways to the left side of the map, then he finds himself in a great position. On the other hand, with Broodlords, you have a lot of huge distances to cover. So if you are once caught out of position by Vikings, then you might lose your entire army, which can just completely snowball. So this is a map where you have to really think about what kind of style you want to try.
Yeah, and Polt has made his choice for what sort of expansion he wants to try for his 3rd base. He's going to take, basically he's doing the Ohana build. He's taking the 3rd command center, double gassing afterwards, continuing to use his Marines to chase Overlords, find drones that are trying to go and make hatcheries. He's going to try to deny the creep as well. Now going for that factory tech. So he's playing this one a little bit identical. Going to be getting that reactor for his Hellions as well. And this time he's actually got 5 Marines together here. He cannot actually fight these Queens, but he's going to try it. Got to be careful. Loses a Marine there.
Yeah, he expected 1 Queen, I think, and not 2. So he moves in, loses a Marine. But as Polt is going for the Ohana build, as you already said, and we kind of expected him to go for some kind of style where he uses his Cloaked Banshees again. This is just something that we've seen a lot more in the recent past. Terran players using additional Banshees, sometimes more than 2, up to 3 or 4, in order to take down creep tumors, in order to push their opponent back, taking the Zalnaga watchtowers, making sure that they still have the map control. But not so Polt. He's once again going for those additional barracks. He's starting with the double engineering base, so trying to execute exactly the same style that we saw on the last map. And this time without Miya going for this aggressive Baneling attack. But the Baneling nest is being built right now. And Miya just doesn't have the lava now.
Yeah, you're right. You're going double Evo Chamber as well here, and Miya is just loving this fast lair play that he's shown us, and I like it as well. It's something that is very rare in general in this matchup these days, but I think it may become more common as people are starting to figure out that with fast lair tech, you can not only be aggressive, but also you really can secure a third base quite well against the Terran aggression that's coming out. Continues to spread his creep quite well. We saw it in all 3 games so far. He really knows how to do that, doesn't miss a beat. And Polt's moving out with just his first 2 Hellions to put on a little bit more concrete pressure. Probably going to bully his way up the 3rd ramp and check to see if the hatchery is there. He can pretty much assume that at this point, but he is going to go check just to make sure.
Yeah, he only gets the scouting information. Of course, the Hellions at this point are no threat to the building hatch, and the Queen's even helping out with the rocks now. But this creep spread for Miya is so important, not only because he gains additional speed for his units when they are on creep, but at the same time, of course, the vision is just so important, that you spot what your opponent is doing. And Miya learned in game number 1 that he needs to scout early on what Polt is doing, because the Terran player with a surprise attack on a Tier shipyard, opening this best of 3 up with an easy win.
Sick micro by Polt, almost saving both of those Hellions and targeting down those creep terminals. 1 Hellion did die, and he's had his 3rd Commander actually mining at the 3rd base for quite some time now. So his economy is getting insane, and with no attack, like you mentioned, there wasn't enough larvae. He decided not to go for that Baneling aggression. With no attack, man, Polt is getting all of his upgrades really safely here. He's taking additional gases at his natural. I mean, he's looking really good.
Yeah, this is more the style that Polt wants. He wants to, if you allow Polt to do whatever he wants, don't put any pressure on the Terran player, then you are in for a fight. Because this guy is just so good at executing his builds. Here come the Marauders and, of course, the Marines again. And now with a Marauder in the composition, those Queens have to be very, very careful.
Yeah, very true. And Marauder having all those extra hit points, and now the Hellions coming in as well. He scans, he's taking out creep tumors. This is a great timing by Polt because he knows his opponent is a little bit skimpy on the units right now. He's not going to try to fight this army. He just wants to do as much damage to the tumors as possible. But now the Banelings are out and speed is done because of that fast lair, and he destroys those Marines.
The Marines are gone, and a lot of good hits on the Hellions as well, but the Zerglings, they are already obliterated, and here come the reinforcements for Miya. He's trying to surround the Hellions, but there are just not enough of them, and now they fight off creep. They have to be really careful here.
Yeah, they do have +1, but that doesn't help with the armor. The Hellions roasting so many of those before the Carapace finished there. And man, Miya now down 11 supply here. Great pressure by Polt, pushing the creep back so significantly, taking out Queens as well. Queen count down back now to 4, and he is... Oh, he denies the Lings as well.
But the story of the game here is that Polt is able to get ahead in the work account and is already getting a 4th base, so his economy is great. The Zerglings here at
they
third
can change things.
Exactly, they are a huge problem right now. He needs the units over their ASAP.
Yeah, he just needs to finish that wall. He's got the SCV ready. Does set up that 4th depot. And the Spire is coming out pretty quick here for Miya. Pretty unusual.
No, it's actually really late. The best timing that you have is that the Mutalisk hit at the 11th minute mark. So now we have 11 minutes in the game already.
It's almost as if, like...
This Spire weirds me out a bit, because at this point we don't have a Hive tech.
Yeah, that's why I meant by quick, because I was like, well, he doesn't have Hive, so...
yeah. For the Brute Lord composition, of course, you're perfectly right. But for the Mutalisk build, if you want to hit Mutalisk, then
he's missed the window, it feels like.
Very late. It seems more that he wants to have a response against drop play, to have some Mutalisk in the air so that he can react with them. And now we have his Infestation Pit. That's, of course, the tech that he needs before he can start Hive. So I think he's gonna, if he's gonna build some Mutalisk, it will only be to shut down the drop play and to try to poke in.
He may make like 6 and then just kind of fly around with those, but I think he's definitely being a little bit indecisive here, since he has not started the Mutas yet, doesn't really have the resources to do so. Starts 3 Corruptors, so I guess it is going to be for Hive, and also you can use the Corruptors to shut down drops as well.
Yeah, he's using the Corruptors here for the drop shutdown. I'm actually a little bit curious if he was a bit on autopilot and built the Spire instead of the Infestation Pit.
Yeah, that's what I feel like that may be what happened here. Meanwhile, Polt is continuing to clean up creep. Miya doing a great job, but it's just so hard for him to push it through the Watchtower.
It's either him deciding to go for the Infestation Pit, then misclicking the hotkeys, going for the Spire, and then deciding to do the best of it and get the Corruptors against the Medivacs, but at the same time already having them ready for the late game transition, or just him being really safe and not taking any risk against the drop play that we've seen from Polt on F1. If it's a conscious decision, then I have to say I like it really a lot, because that will help him against the style that Polt showed on Ohana.
You know what's something else to think about too is with denying creep, with Polt's army, if he wants to attack with Banelings and Lings alone, then he just picks up on the Medivacs, and the Corruptors kill the Medivacs, for example, because he was keeping the Corruptors with his main army for a second there, so I thought maybe That's one of his ideas here. But either way, the Corruptors are going to be useful later on.
Yeah.
Polt's not hitting with big attacks. This is not really a problem for him. Oh, well, this is exactly what Polt has his drop here for. Immediately the cancel on that hatch.
And he didn't even realize it. Polt has no idea that there is actually a hatch. He didn't see it yet.
And the drone's just going to remake it as soon as the Lings come through.
Yeah, and here they are, the Marines. And of course now there they are, the Corruptors that we talked about. And bye-bye Medivac. Oh, actually he will be able to save it. Just has to drop these Marines.
Yeah, he needs to drop him out, and he will. He's not going to be able to save the Marines, but he can annoy him a little bit more as he moves across the map, clearing up creep tumors. This is what Polt wants to do here, and Miya is getting in a little bit of an awkward position right now. He doesn't have the Broodlords out. He's got 50 Lings in production. Polt's army right now does have 2-2. His Hellions have +1 as well, but a great flank here. Oh my god!
Timing! What a timing! Polt is just unsieging his tanks, and Miya moves in from the back. This is the worst timing for Polt ever. Look at those failing hits!
Oh, they were so good, and he's not done yet. Clearing up more Marines, the Lings come through here, and the Corruptors, just a few of them in this mix, really helps deal with the Medivacs. He can't just pick up and run with this.
Wow, Polt has to use his bank now. He really dropped in supply, and this is the best feeling. If you're a Zerg player and you run in with Zerglings, you surround your opponent, and then the Banelings slowly close the distance and take down the entire chunk of Marines. That is actually when you just want to jump up and fist pump.
Yeah, it is a great feeling. Polt now in a lot of trouble. He does have the 4th base up and running. He's got 3 upgrades on the way. And man, if you let Polt get a 4th base and he's got 13 Marines in production, you better watch out, because he is just going to keep rallying those across the map until he can start to really mess with your head.
The last fight was definitely not what Polt intended, and now he has a bit of a problem. He was ahead of his opponent, but right now Miya in the overall supply ahead of Polt comes in with an attack at the 4th base. The SCVs have to repair immediately here, but the Banelings, they are going for it, taking down the planetary, at least trying to, and there's no SCV to repair anymore. Boom! The 4th is gone, and Miya is retreating immediately with still a few units for Polt, aiming for the 4th of the Zerg player.
And Keller, something that's concerning is that, you know, Polt's siege tank count is not quite that high yet, but there's no Greater Spire even started for Miya, so he is going to need to start to do that pretty soon. A great flank again, though, and he pushes Polt back. And even without Greater Spire attack, he is showing that he knows how to defend. Those 4 Corruptors are all that make all the difference in the world when Polt has nowhere to run with the Medivacs. Now he can't save his units, he's going to drop them out, and the Lings are just going to come back and crush them.
At this time now the Corruptors are going to die.
Yeah.
A little bit weird here that Miya did not send some Zerglings in order to have the ground reinforcements. But at this point, it doesn't really matter all that much. The Medivacs are gone. He needs to rebuild the Corruptors, which is exactly what he does. He wants to have this anti-drop play that we talked about earlier. So I really like it that he has a few anti-air units here. But +3/+3 is now coming up for both players. Adrenal Glance is done. And even though Miya doesn't have the transition into Greater Spire, his ground play is just excellent in this game.
Yeah, just adding the Corruptors, man, adds so much...
his lava management as well.
Yeah, it really... It's enough to continue producing as many Zerglings as he wants. He's got 130 out on the map right now. That is so many Zerglings. And Polt, you know, he's with his macro and having that 4th base of, yeah, he lost a planetary, but he had another 4th that he just moved over there. His production is insane, and because there's no Greater Spire to really control him, he just keeps remaking. Yeah, you kill his army 6 times, but he has his army number 7 running through the map right now.
The problem is now that both have lost the same amount of resources. So even though Miya put on a lot of pressure, he's not by any means ahead in this game. Polt can still take this, but these run-bys, they are actually taking a toll here.
They really are, and Polt's going to have to split his Marines. He does not split initially. Oh no, you never want to go into the... Oh, that was so bad. Polt now actually losing way too many Marines. He's going to lose the Thors as well. Medevac's being taken out, and Polt is losing army after army right now.
He was occupied at the 3rd. He was defending his 3rd, and Miya just with this perfect timing, he sends in Zerglings at the 3rd base, at the 4th, sorry. Polt has to lift, has to retreat, has to send units over, and this is the timing that Miya chooses to attack the army. Really well done. Polt realizing a little bit too late what's going on, and now Miya is going to hit the 4th again.
Yeah, he is. The Corruptor's adding some extra DPS to that orbital. He's going to have to pull it back. Polt does force these units back, but Miya's multitasking is insane in this game. He forces another stim on the Marines as well.
We have a few Marines still over at the 5th base for Miya, taking down Harvesters. The Baneling not able to take down the Marine with the 3/3 upgrades and the Medivac support, but the Zergling will be able to pull it off. Lings running in here, Polt desperately trying to get more siege tanks. And the farther this game progresses, the more Polt is forced to play defensive.
Yeah, he just no longer has any presence on the map. And it's so cool to me that Miya is actually doing all of this without a Greater Spire.
And his lava his lava management is actually like really insane. His injects are spot on even at this stage in the map. A lot of Zerg players will tell you that it's most important that you inject up to the mid game, but Miya is not missing a single inject here. And now in the middle of the map, once again a fight between Marines and Banelings. But Polt has to be so careful. If he loses another army, I think Miya will just completely crush him.
Polt has to keep lifting his orbital. Miya, it just never stops the aggression. He does not have a planetary there. Now he's finally got this push, though, I feel, that has the power. If he sieges up correctly, he actually could do so much damage. He's going to catch a group of Lings on the right side for free as well. The army deficit is actually 2.
The drop to the left side of the map, not successful. The Corruptors, they see what's coming and they take it down before any damage has been done.
Yeah, he needs to run back across the other side of the map, though. Polt's kind of playing tennis with Miya here a little bit.
What I love, though, is Polt's decision to get a sensor turret at his 4th base. This is so important to show him early where exactly the Zerg player tries to attack next time.
And yeah, he's so great with his positioning right now. Having to watch out, but he needs to pull back! And he does, but he loses several Marines, but the Banelings are actually not being very cost efficient against these siege tanks, and he takes all the siege tanks out, but the Marines remain alive. Polt, no split though. Where was the split there?
If Polt would have split his Marines a little bit better, he would have been in a great position against the remaining Banelings, but Miya trades once again. The resources lost, guys, 25,000 for both players. This is still an even trade, but on the other hand, we have Miya with a better economy. He is now 60 supply ahead of Polt just because he can afford all these units and the reinforcements to stream in.
Yeah, Polt's money is even-ish with Miya with mules, but when the mules fall, Miya always has the consistently better income. And even with the mules that Polt has, Miya still has about 300 minerals more per minute coming in. He's got so much better saturation with his harvesters. Polt has another command center finishing up, and interestingly enough, he's got building armor, which means it's going to be much harder to actually kill that command center. He can afford to keep it on the ground longer. He's got to make sure he splits his Marines this time. He's cleared up the creep quite a lot, but there's another flank on the way, just like usual. Polt is so out of position here, he's going to be surrounded. His army is too small.
His siege tanks, they need to target fire the Banelings, but great split here by Miya, taking down the 1-4 immediately. The army is crushed, Polt down to 100 supply against 170, and Miya on the move once again, trying to hit the 4th. There's no planetary. The Marines trying to defend here, but the Banelings moving into the SCV line.
Now, the SCVs need to be pulled away. They are. The Banelings, though, connecting decently with the Marines. The siege tanks will clean this up, but the orbital is down. Even with the building armor, those Corruptors take that orbital out so fast.
The orbital is dead. Another one has been placed down at the bottom right. Not to the ground, though, because there's a borrowed Zergling in position. But just the supply, it already tells the tale. We have 170 against 100. And look at the minimap. All these bases for Miya, the Slayers player, is in a position where he can now end the game.
Yeah, he's just rallying across the map over and over and over again, using good flanks, controlling his opponent's Marines, using Corruptors even. Tanks, some of them on siege, no Marine support. Now the tanks are gone, the Banelings roll in.
They are rolling, Wolf, and they are going for the Marines straight away. Polt with a good split, but this is a numbers game that at this point he might not be able to win. He's down to 70 supply against 163, and there are more Zerglings coming all the time. Miya with additional production.
And you're so right, man. The larva is so important when you want to play this style, and he has just done it. He has taken Polt out here without a single Broodlord made. 29 Banelings in production. He really wants to end this. His economy is sick. He's forced Polt to lift so many times. He's forced him to remake so many SCVs.
And the resources lost, they are still the same. 33,000 for both of them. But the economy is so much better for Miya because of his great multitasking and macro. Now he's moving in again with the next force. The army supply is 86 against 50. And Miya is once more on the move. He's forcing another lift-off. The income for Polt is just plummeting down.
He's dancing the Zerglings on the ground. He's chasing the Marines back. He's killed the orbital. And, well, Polt is pretty much out of luck here. He's got a few siege tanks on the high ground. Miya does not care. He may even corrupt the siege tanks if he wants to. He could corrupt some Marines. The Banelings roll through with good splitting. It's still not enough.
Polt is down to 50 supply right now. He's not mining from his main natural or third base anymore. He is out of luck. His income is nearly down to 0. Well, not really, because he has the mule still. There's the last base, but it's not enough.
GG.
Miya takes